flip the script. All of a sudden, I bet you can hear me now. Yes, I think so. Let's see. Huh. Let me know. Can you hear me? Yes, no? In the comments. Flip the script. All of a sudden, I bet you can hear me now. Yes. All right. So, one more thing that I have to do is also bring my microphone closer. Yes, no? In the comments. This is live TV at its best, right? Yes, and we can hear me in the background too because that's what phones are good for. All right. And, okay. So, as I'm holding my mic, holding my phone, this is what I do, making it live, making it happen. And yeah, we are going live because this is what TV is all about. See, I wanted to use my lav mic today, which is actually not connected to me, but that's what I wanted to use. However, that's okay. We are using this one, and what a hot mess, but that's okay. Now we should be good for audio. So welcome to another crazy episode of Just Ask Cher Live. I am so excited to talk to you guys today about post-event follow-up. And one of the things that I have learned is the opportunities can last as long as you want them to. I know it sounds crazy, right? If an event was last week, like an event that I hosted was last week, so all of you who went to the Be Future event, hello, welcome. Thanks for watching. And all of you who don't know about the Be Future event, that's an event you definitely want to know about for the future. So take a look at the Black Professionals in Technology Network. It was phenomenal. I also have a video about it, so showing some clips in my feed. So take a look if you're curious. And, but one of the things that I think about when I go to conferences, when I go to events and stuff like that is, well, how am I going to maximize the event? Because as much as we're meeting people, as much as we're connecting with people, it makes it very difficult. So I want to know from you, as far as it makes it difficult to really maximize as much as you like to. So before we go any further, I want to know, are you team live or team replay? Let me know. Again, I'm just checking in the comments below. Happy Tuesday to Karen and Angel. Yes, this is definitely going to help. I promise that you're going to think about your post-conference follow-up differently because nothing that I'm sharing has anything to do with the typical tips. Right? We've heard them a million times, but what I want to do is make sure that you're going deeper with intention. So Yashika, hey, great to see you. Christopher, thank you. It is a great topic. I'm excited about it. And I think that people can really take advantage of it. Even with my technical difficulties off the top, but look, it's a brand new set. It's a brand new me. Well, brand new camera. I had a brand new mic that's not working, but I'm going to figure that out later. But yes, let me know, team live or team replay. I think a lot of you are going to see this on the replay. So Karen's definitely team live. Sharon, she's team live, and let's see who else is team live. Barbara, Yashika, Nicolette. Yes, I'm telling you guys, this is where it's at. So one of the things that I want to start getting into the conversation right now is I want to ask a question. And before I do that, I want to make sure that you guys are excited about this topic, maybe excited about seeing me, excited about seeing my brand new vibe, because I think it looks kind of cool. So either way, you know, the algorithm loves it when you love it. So if you love it, like it, want to clap for it, support it, whatever it is, make sure you do it because that helps me bring out more content and get it out to more people. So make sure you do your duty and let me know what you think. All right, but I do have a question for you. So this show, by the way, if for those of you who are brand new to Just Ask Cher, I give awesome tips on personal branding. And this year I'm really focusing on corporate professionals who really want to go from hidden figure to influential leader. I want to help you brand where you are. Take advantage of the opportunities that are right in front of you at work. I want to help you grow your reputation and be considered for those hidden opportunities, like I said, that are right in front of you. So all this year, I'm going to be sharing ways, tips, strategies that you can use right now at work. So it's all about being branded at work. And so I also have a scroll stopper, and that is something that every single week there's always something that stops my thumb, and I break down why, so that you can use this as a post idea for yourself or recommend it to somebody else. And of course, tap that app with two P's. That's where I recommend a tool that I'm using or an app that I'm using. And of course, if you got questions, I got my A's to your Q. So we will definitely go through that. So that's what we're going to be talking about in the next 23 minutes. Damn. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. And so let's get started. So I want you to be honest right now. Again, whether you're live or replay, don't care. I want you to be honest with me in the comments on a scale of 1 to 5. How good is your post-event follow-up game? And I'm not just talking about reaching out, just generally, how are you following up on what you've learned? How are you leveraging this event to build your brand beyond the event? Because we can be way more strategic beyond the event than at the event. I know the event is important and it is the catalyst for opportunity, but it's the work you do after the event that makes it happen. Okay, so I want to know. So let's see. So Gurpreet's asking, what software am I using? This is all homegrown, baby. I have made this, all of my graphics, everything that you see here is designed by yours truly, me. I do use OBS, so Streamlabs OBS to broadcast. I also use Restream to multi-stream to multiple platforms. Sometimes I use Restream if I'm having a guest on, I'll use their studio, but everything that you see here, the reason why you won't find it anywhere else is because I made it myself. Okay, so I see a lot of 2s and 3s as far as their follow-up games. Charlene's like a 3, Vivica's a 2 to 3, Marcello, great to see you. Again, Nicolette's team live, let's see. Yeah, Vivica says, yes, as we roll out to real life events, present, workshops, etc., it is really important to discover any follow-up opportunities and really claim them and take advantage of them. I couldn't agree with you more. So let's jump right into my tips right now because time's a ticking. I know y'all are on lunch or depending on when you're watching, how you're watching, but I want to keep honest with the time. So let's keep it moving. So post-event follow-up tips. One of the things that I think most people don't do is they're not intentional with who they're going to follow up with. And I mean, when I say intentional, I mean super intentional. So you got to look at what is your overall professional goal, or maybe there's performance metrics that you're trying to look at and objectives that you want to achieve this year. And by going to this conference, it helped you achieve things or it's leading you down the path. You've got to look at, well, who do I need to connect with in order to really grow in my role? Or for those of you business owners out there and consultants out there, again, who is on the list? And I want you to be specific and intentional. You don't need to have a huge list. It could be a list of 3 people that, you know what, because as a result of this conference, summit, event, meeting, whatever, I want to be intentional about growing a stronger, better, more productive relationship. And so you got to take a look at that. But I want you to be so specific and intentional about how you're going to connect with these individuals. First of all, you need to know who they are. So for some of you, that may be you're pursuing a mentor at work, or perhaps you have been partnered with someone who's an advocate or a champion, and you're thinking about, well, how can I further build this relationship? Because this should be top on your list. So I'm going to get to why and how in just a second, but you got to take a look at those relationships. Maybe speaking is a big thing for you. Maybe that's where you want to go. You want to be on panels, or maybe even doing a keynote or a breakout session, but you got to know the right people, right? Who organizes these types of conferences. So that might be someone on your target list, because for them, if they're an organizer, then you got to look at it from a different perspective, right? You're going to be you know what you're going to be talking to them about. And I'll get into that in just a little deeper in just a second. Okay. So at the end of the day, everybody's goals are different, but I want you to really be intentional. 3 to 5 people max of who you're going to go hard in the paint for, and really create a value-based relationship, which I'm going to show you how in just a second. Okay, so the next thing that I want you to do is find the juiciest nuggets. We all go to conferences, we're all taking notes, we all remember which sessions were the good ones. And I want you to go through your notes first and pull out the juiciest stuff, not the stuff that you know what, pretty much all of the thought leaders are saying the same thing, because it is like thought leadership and best practices are what they are. They're the best things to do. So trust and believe that there's more than one person saying the same thing. They may say it a little differently, but they're definitely saying the same thing. What I want you to go in there is weave in your nuggets. Was there a quotable, like practically like a tweetable that you're like, oh my goodness, that was game changing for me, that perspective shift, right? Because I want you to find those, because those are the nuggets that create either shareable moments or further opportunities to create content with, right? So what you want to do is find your nuggets. The beauty of going to virtual conferences, and as we see more hybrid conferences, is the fact that you have access to the replays. So there's probably things that you didn't get to go to because, for example, the Be Future conference, they had 4 active stages, like 3 major stages, but they had 4 things going on at the same time, which leaves you with a ton of choice, but then a ton of FOMO as well. So here's what I want you to do, because there's no way you could, I think there were 60 sessions or something like that. Crazy. It was awesome, but insane. I literally, on my stage that I was hosting, I think we went through, I think it was 8 or 9 blocks, so different sessions. And that was just my stage, right? So, but what I want you to do is go through the list of the stuff that you really want to watch. But before you do that, I want you to go to tip number 1, compiling your target list. So for those of you who are actively developing a relationship with an advocate, a champion, a mentor, what's something that they would have benefited from if they went to the conference? That's the one I want you to watch. Or if it's a client, or if it's for your team, where you're like, you know what? Or somebody you partner with to work with from different departments, whatever. I want you to look at the target list and look with their eyes and say, this would benefit them. The reason why is now you're going to take notes of the juiciest nuggets. Now you got time because you can pause, you can write it down, you can get it exactly what they're talking about. And then the next part out is you're going to be reaching out strategically. Do you guys see where I'm going? This is not your typical conference, post follow-up, make sure you send your email. Y'all know that stuff, right? Y'all know to reach out and connect on LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the stuff that's going to move the dial with your target list, because this is the stuff that's going to make an impact on future opportunities, right? So I want you to reach out strategically to the right people. And that could be, as I mentioned, I did a video I posted it this morning prior to this live, and I talked about, being able to reach out to senior leadership or senior leadership with best practices. So for example, this conference that I was at, there was a heavy focus on diversity, inclusion, and belonging and equity. And as companies are really starting to make changes, one of the things that you can do is find those groundbreaking research nuggets, or case studies that you feel that those people who are actively doing the work in your company, or at least saying they are, that they might be interested in this. And this is not something that you're going to send them because they didn't pay to go to the conference, so they don't have access to the links. So you're going to send them I went to this session with you in mind. How does that feel when you receive something like that? I went to this session with you in mind, and here are my tips that I wanted to share with you. Because what this opens up is an opportunity for conversation. whether it's a lunch, whether it's a Zoom call, whether it's a meetup face-to-face, something where you can have a deeper conversation. It also allows you, especially if there's an area, so we've got the diversity inclusion as one piece, there's the technology side, best practices. It also allows you to share your opinion and thought around that, what you learned. And also it levels up the perception of you, your brand, and what you bring to the table, because you get an opportunity now to share what's in here. And oftentimes you're so stuck in doing your day-to-day and getting that focus and getting that done that you don't get the time to get this out. So by reaching out strategically to the right people, for some of you that might be with some of the thought leaders on stage, there might be an opportunity to partner or collaborate with. And these are the ways that you can do it. So what I'm going to do before I get to my fifth, I think I got 6 points for you. Yes, I do. I'm going to jump into the comments just to see what you guys think of this stuff so far. I hope this isn't disappointing, right? I really wanted to give you stuff that you won't see regularly. All right. So yes, I see that Marcello's like, yeah, I'm totally on the speaking plan. And so another thing that you can be doing, Marcello, is when you go through the list of all the sessions that you missed, look for your sweet spots. Look for the things that, you know what, if I was on that panel, I could own that or I could be a part of that conversation from a thought leader perspective, because of the fact that you know what you know and you do what you do. Like most of the people who are watching this are in that middle to established point in their career. And so this is the time where you know your lane and it's time to slay in it, my friends. So that's what I want to see. And I'm loving the heart. So keep them coming, keep them coming. This makes me feel good. All right. So, I love what Sharon's saying. She said it also brought to light what companies you would like to work for and appreciate those who are doing what they are doing. And that's something we have to also take a look at, is like, so say for example, although, you know, I don't really work in the job hunting space. I will refer you out. If you're looking for a job, I can connect you with a lot of people who that's their thing. But there are opportunities where now being in front of those employers and being in front of how they're presenting. I mean, and I know this is going to be like a weird kind of shameless plug. If I was ever looking for a job, one of the places I'd want to work for is LinkedIn. I know it sounds crazy, right? Not just because of my experience, because of all the people that I know at LinkedIn and how much they love the environment, the energy, the opportunity for growth. I met somebody who's Toronto based, who's moving to New York in a couple weeks. And he was on my stage. So, I mean, again, you're going to see those opportunities, but maybe there's an opportunity for you to say, I see this happening at these companies. How can we bring it to ours and champion that? So that becomes part of your target list of who's responsible for employee experience. You might want to share those best practices with them, what you noticed and what made you feel attracted to those companies. So again, do you guys see? It's about the behind the scenes stuff going on here, right? Yes, know your lane and slay in it, Yashika. That's what I'm talking about. And yes, Gurpreet, she is a career and job search coach. So if you're looking for a job, go check her out, which is awesome. And Doug, of course, on Lehman's Turn, saying these are solid tactics, right? So what I want you to do right now is truly reach out strategically. And there are other strategies in play, because there are people that you can co-create content with, right? There are people. So one of the ideas that I have as well is I want you to not only take action on something you've learned, I want you to track how that progress is happening. Let's say, for example, it was more about wellness. Maybe it was something about productivity. I want you to, whatever inspired you, whatever motivated you, whatever activated you, I want you to take action on it. But I don't want you just to keep it to yourself, because your testimony, that is something that attracts people to you, and that you can talk about and talk about the transformation. And that happens in so many different aspects of our life. But specifically, when it comes to what you've learned, you took action. Let's say you did it for 30 days. You track your progress, and then you create content around that. And that's something huge. Or going back out to reaching out strategically. As you can see, like my ideas, there's so many that I can't even keep them contained in this confine right here. But one of the things that you can do is, say for example, there were some best practices that you saw at the conference. Who are the people who would be on that level of also being able to share best practices within your company? You can share them with them and then interview them and grab out more best practices so that you can then create some sort of content, whether it's using some live streaming content like live streaming software like Restream or StreamYard, so that you can do an interview or even Zoom, and then really create content out of that. So that's just another idea. Like my ideas are just flowing like the river right now. Okay, but back to point number 5. So take action on something you learned, something that you've implemented, something that you're trying. Track the results, track the challenges, and then create content out of it. And then you can also quote the person who shared that tip with you, whether it's in a document, because documents are still fire on LinkedIn, whether it's a video or anything like that, so that they get tagged and they also get to build a relationship with you as well. And anybody else who might be interested. I'm just going to take a sip. Okay, the next, I love this one. This one's called the knowledge drop. Okay, what this is this is where the conference is the gift that keeps on giving, right? Because I don't care if the conference was 2 months ago. I went to a technology conference recently, and some of the best practices that we should be using in this project were outlined, and here's what they were. So don't be afraid to remind people that you are skilling up and you're leveling up. So in conversation, because this is also how your brand comes to life, right? So in conversation, you're going to be talking about what you learned and your application to that, and attributing it to where you learned it, who you learned it from, and letting people know. Because again, by showing that you are in the constant learning mode, you become more valuable, right? So this is something that I want you to do. Even if it's just a quick quote, you can even include that in a report, include that in a meeting, right? Drop the knowledge and attribute it to you taking action on that, okay? So these are my tips again. So right from the top, if you want to crush your post-event follow-up beyond the typical reach out, connect on LinkedIn, invite them for a coffee, do an informational interview, yeah. Oh, sorry, that was bad. Yeah. I have no manners. Anyways, what you need to I can't believe I just did that. All right, so what you need to do is compile your target list, right? Make sure you know exactly who it is you want to reach out to, right? Make sure you want to really be intentional, 3 to 5 max, right? And you have a plan to move the dial on the relationship. Find the juiciest nuggets, the nuggets that you took, that you wrote down. You want to find those, not the stuff that everybody knows, the stuff that they need to know. The stuff that impressed you will probably impress them too. Rewatch some of the sessions with intention. That's the intention of connecting with those on your target list. So you're going out of your way to create something that they will find valuable. And then that's when you reach out strategically. So whether you're reaching out to create content with them, whether you're reaching out to share what you learned with them, whether you are reaching out to get their opinion on something or to build the relationship with them, you have to have a plan, and it goes back to the target list. Then action, track, create. Take action on something that you've learned, like intentional action, where you are not only taking action, you are tracking the challenges, the results, and then create content out of that. So this is, again, the gift that keeps on giving. And of course, the knowledge drop, right? And that is where you're gonna where it makes sense, mention where you learned and when you went, and be intentional about getting that in there, right? And you can also, again, typical example of post-event follow-up would be create content right after the event. That's obvious, so you know I'm not going to talk about that, but you should be doing that. All right, so those are my tips. Jeez, 3 minutes and 52 seconds? There's no way that I'm going to finish it, but let me know. Let me know what you're thinking. I'm going to jump in here to see the conversations. Yes, I love what Socrates says. He says, create an Excel tracker. Absolutely. Because you got to be, this is what intentionality is all about. It's about being focused, specific, and taking actions and tracking it. I love that. And she goes like, amen to all of this. And Vivica says, I'm on a roll. That's how I roll, baby. So thank you very much. Charlene Brown says, learning this way will always help improve how we truly connect. Correct. I love that. Level up by adding your perspective, your angle. Yes, that's really important, because this is like, you went to the conference. You didn't come like as a blank slate. You came with experience, knowledge, and expertise. Now it's adding on, and now you get to process that knowledge and then repurpose it with attribution, but how you would use it. And that, again, shows people what is awesome about you, right? So these are the good things. And I love, put the follow reminders on your calendar. Yes. See, all these amazing tips that I clearly have no time for are coming through in the comments. So if you have comments right now that you feel that everybody should know, or everybody needs to be reminded of, because just because it's common sense doesn't mean that we're commonly taking action with it, because common sense is not that common. But anyways, share it, please. Share it down here, because I'm going to be plucking them out, and I'm going to create a document with and highlighting some of your tips. So if you give me a solid action tip, you know it's going to be in a document where I'm sharing these tips plus your tips, because this is a community. That's what it's all about. So my timer, guys, is stressing me out. I want to finish my show. So I'm going to pause it for just a second. And yeah, just a second. And we're going to continue. I love what Sharon says. I tagged the conference on opening day on Twitter to invite others who may not have known about it. Exactly, because now you become valuable as an influencer. We're all micro-influencers in some way or shape or form, because we have a community around us that actually cares what we talk about. So these things, you never know. It's not about the amount of eyeballs. It's about the right eyeballs, right? So let's keep that in mind. All right, so let me move on, because I have this awesome example of what I want to show you. And all right, so you guys got to see this. I'm sorry for making noises with the mic, but anyways, yeah. Okay, so it's all about the scroll stopper right now. And this scroll stopper is pretty hot, and it is brought to you by, so let's take a look at this scroll stopper. Okay, first of all, it's fire, right? So you're probably wondering what's up with this. Well, it totally goes in with our theme around speaking and speaking at events, because I know there's a lot of you guys right now who want to be on panels, who want to speak at events on behalf of their company, and those are hidden opportunities right within your company, and it's about getting access to them. So that might be one of the things that you might want to investigate, is those who represented your company who were at the conference, how did they get that? build a relationship with them, talk to them. But in the meantime, let's get back to my scroll stopper. So today's scroll stopper is brought to you by Shantae Eldridge, and she is an executive government advisor at Amazon Web Services. There's no substitute for experience, helping leaders modernize their business, not just upgrade technology. So this is what she created on the right. And let's take a closer look at this so we can take a look. All right, so what she's doing basically is in this image alone, and we'll get to the copy of what she wrote because I think it's equally important, is she shares her brand and her style. So you can see if you take a closer look, she's got her sneakers with a really cool dress, and then she's got she's got her brand clearly showcased out there, right? And she's also showing that, yes, I'm speaking. Because one of the things that you have to do, and let's come back to me for a second. One of the things that you have to do is, in order to create opportunities for yourself, especially within your company, a lot of times they just want to see that you can already do it, right? So she's gotten to the point where AWS is saying, hey, we want you to speak here, there, and everywhere. But before you do that, before you get to that point, it's about showing and proving where you are speaking, right? And when you're speaking, and that could be at community events, that could be at industry events, or local chapters of an org or anything like that else that you are a part of. So she's showcasing that she has a speaking opportunity. And then the next thing that I want to show you is that she's also leveraging her company brand, right? So she gets to show, it's like a win-win piece of content, right? Because she's not only repping for herself and basically taking charge of her own success, she's also aligning and partnering with the brand that she works for to give that equal opportunity of exposure. So this becomes win-win, and trust me, internally people notice this stuff, right? So now let's get into, and I'm gonna go back to the slide here. Now let's get into what she has said. So what I love about this is the headline is a problem statement. So I'll read it out to you. So I bet you this is not even what you were expecting to hear. How imposter syndrome almost kept me from being my authentic self. Guys, this is a speaking opportunity, but yet she's bringing it home with something personal. So already it's not like, oh, I got to speak here today and I'm really proud, right? Like, it's not just that. And that's why, and that's the difference. That's the shift that I want you to get out of that, is what's the story behind the opportunity? How do you lead with that? There's nothing wrong with letting people know that you got to speak and even saying that, but you're not going to hook me that way right off the top. So let's jump back into the example. So yesterday I spoke at AWS Imagine, Educate conference on how to build a strong digital culture. So again, good thing she's talking about what she talked about. So again, owning the expertise. And then she goes into it further, and I'm gonna bring over, let's take a look at it on LinkedIn itself. So give me 1 second so I can make it nice and big for y'all so you can actually see it. And all right, so let's move over to the other side here. All right. Okay, so basically what she's saying is, although I present fairly often, advise government, K-12, and higher education executives, and serve, so she's talking about all the stuff that she does, this was her first time speaking in such a large group of education professionals, right? So interestingly enough, she's like, oh my gosh, should I have worn my heels instead of my sneakers, right? And then she goes down into, should she have toned down her style and her humor? And then she goes into teaching why you should be your authentic you, and the things that she did. So she offers some tips. And then she gives the final part about, her, her sneakers were the right choice. So I love the fact that she validates her experience. So let me go back over to over to the other slide so you can see it. So she validates her experience and she shows her vulnerability as far as being like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have imposter syndrome because I wore these sneakers. I felt cool at the time, but now I'm in front of all these people. Maybe I just should have been not my true authentic self, because this is what I wanted to wear. Not to say that heels are wrong, because I love me some heels. But in this moment, that was her choice, and it is who she is. And she was able to do it, but she shared the vulnerability of it. And then, of course, she offered helpful tips, which is really important. But the final thing that she did, which I loved, is there was a call to action. So she said, if you have any cool sneaker tips, or any like that sneakers that you fun sneaker ideas, blah blah blah, leave a message, leave a comment below. So she left it on a fun note. And so I definitely suggest that you check out Shantae and really take a look at this post, because she did an excellent job. Okay, so again, awesome job, Shantae. And I want to remind you guys that you never want to miss a post. So make sure you're following Just As Cher, the hashtag, and you won't miss another post. Coming up next is, my friends, we are moving on to Tap That App with 2 Ps. And before I do that, let me just jump in the comments to see what you guys are saying here. Let's see if I've got active comments going on. I'm telling you, this is so yes, so I'm gonna confidently vulnerable. That's what Vika says. I love it. And Charlene says, I love the scroll stopper. I love it. Yes. So definitely it's important to share that vulnerability, and that does really well on LinkedIn, quite frankly. So next up, do I want to start my timer yet? I'm so stressed out with that time, 1 minute and 52 seconds, but let's see what I can do. I'm not gonna start it yet, because let's be realistic. Besides, I lost 5 minutes off the top, right? I did. So anyways, my app for today, I have been using this for a solid almost 3 months now, maybe 2 months. Yeah. Anyways, it is an app, especially if you are doing long format interviews and content. So I have a podcast called Icons and Insights, where I, along with my co-host Howard, we interview tech giants, tech thought leaders in the industry. Like, I'm talking, we had Paul Jacobs, the former CEO of Qualcomm, on the show. So it's kind of a big deal for me anyways. So we go through these long interviews, and for me and my attention span, I find it sometimes like just to stay in, because once I've had the conversation, it's like, okay, now I got to go back and edit it and produce it. So, and I got to go through and see what we're losing and what we're keeping. So I use this, let me go on to the shot for you. I use this thing called Pictory AI. And this is a phenomenal piece of software that allows you to take an article, for example, and it uses AI to pick out the best the best punches from that article, so the best headlines, the best facts, whatever, and it will help you select pictures and create captions for an article. So basically turn your article into a video. It can turn a script into a video. So you can start taking, grabbing your text, turning it into a video. It can take visuals and create it into a video. But what I use it for is editing your video with voice text. So you can literally, let me come back on screen for a second. You can literally get the transcript on one side, the videos on the other. You can go through the transcript as it's playing, and you can find all the ums and ahs. It will remove it automatically if you want. You can highlight a sentence and it will remove it, or you can highlight a sentence and it will create a highlight video for you. This all around, Pictory AI, let me tell you guys, it is so worth trying out. I think they have a plan where you can try out 3 videos for free or 3 videos a month. But for me, it's been a huge help. So I definitely recommend it. So Pictory AI is where you can find it. and try it out, especially if you're doing long format content, or if you are a writer and you want to create videos out of it. And the stock images and videos that they use it through Shutterstock, and it is included. So your rights are included. So I think that is pretty awesome. And what else do I want to tell you? That's it for that. So check it out. And next, I want to remind you of something so simple. Did you know sharing is caring, guys? Seriously. So if you found that this episode today of Just Ask Cher, lunchtime episode, was particularly beneficial in one way or another, make sure you share this with a friend. You can share it with your network by hitting that share button, or you can share it in the DMs, whatever it is, or tag people in the comments. I would absolutely appreciate it. And now, I'll start the timer. I might stop it. But now is the time for me to answer your questions. If there's anything burning when it comes to what you should do with your brand or a technology software thing, I know I always get a lot of questions about the technology I use, which is coming up in a future content thing, because you might notice there's a little bit of a level up with the camera I got going on here today. So excited about that. But that one was definitely an investment. But I have other ideas for you as well. So I'm going to check into the comments right now. Yes. So AppSumo still has a special. Oh my gosh, guys, go on AppSumo, because that's where I got it. You know, y'all know I love me some AppSumo, right? So AppSumo, like a sumo wrestler.com. I am the queen of AppSumo tech, and that's why I do my tap that app all the time. That is where I got it, and you will not regret. It is like $29 a month if you don't do it, from a monthly charge. I think $19 if you pay for it annually. So go check it out. And Charlene, thank you so much for tagging Carl in the comments. Carl, if you're watching, I appreciate it. Hey, Gabe. Guys, if you want to see what else is live streaming on LinkedIn every single day, Gabe is compiling a list. If you are a live streamer, you need to get in touch with this live streaming guru, because he knows all things live streaming, and he's definitely somebody you want to talk to as well. And yes, Pictory.ai, grab it. And yes, Charlene, I'm just like you. I love AppSumo. And Robert Berry, Charlene shouted you out, so thank you for joining us, I hope. And so, guys, I really want to make sure that you are getting value. So if you have any questions, even after the show, because oh my gosh, this thing's gonna go red. No, I can't handle it. I made it, because that goes red and it stresses me out. Next week, I will be shorter. I promise. I swear. But this week, hey, this is the first time I've been back in a long time in this format, in this new stuff, in the new tech. So I'm allowed, right? Anyways, I want to just thank you guys for joining me today. If you have a question, definitely. Oh, right there. Look at that. Did I lose it? See, this is new tech at its finest. I know you can hear me. So this is when you got to be prepared, right? So I'm going to jump on to my Logitech. Let's see if I can. All right. See, look at that. Look at what I got to do to make it happen. So you can see this is more of what's going on in the background. Not as cool of the camera, too much to adjust right now, because it's basically with what am I saying? See, I'm like off my game right now. What basically, yes, let's see if I can do that. Give me a sec, guys. I am good to go. PowerPoint, let's see. No, I gotta do this. This is life in the fast lane, right? So now I have to reposition myself and come here because the camera's not working, but this is life. So one thing I will, figure this out. Nope, it's not working. So yeah, this is it. Let's see. No. All right, guys, this looks like it's the end of the show because with no camera, there's no life, right? So, yeah, there we go. I'm back. This is what we do. See, even I gotta do teleprompter too. But anyways, I'm gonna end the show on that because life is what it is. It's not always working for you when you want it to. But thank you so much for watching. And this is Live on the Fly. And I will see you in another episode. And this is what you gotta do. You gotta got like 2 cameras, everything. Crazy. But I will see you soon, guys. So have a wonderful day and enjoy all my mistakes. And know that, you know what? Done is better than perfect because perfect never gets done. And I will see you on another episode. Okay? So I'm gonna smash intro this one more time. Thanks for watching.